Hello and welcome. My name is Tom.
And I'm Heather.
And you're sitting at the Couples Table.
The Couples Table is a live stream podcast here on this channel. Join us for better or worse,
For richer or poor,
in sickness and in health.
even dressed like pinatas.
Pinata.
And if you're listening to the audio version.
Here's what happened, okay?
Yeah, I don't know. I walked in the closet and I was like, oh, I can't
was like,
compete
I
with
don't know
this.
what to wear today. I've gone through all the bright things. I got this after Halloween. But I was really sad because we didn't really do anything for Halloween. It was like, it just kind of came upon us.
Oh, there was a Firebirds game.
Yeah. And then I just like slapped together like wigs and stuff. And I don't even know what I did. But then I was like, next year, I'm going to do it right. And then I got an Instagram ad for this like really cool piñata costume.
This is a sneak preview then?
I haven't been able to wear it. It's just been in the closet since the first week after Halloween. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it.
I almost busted out my shark costume.
I know, I was going to tell you.
It's just so hot though.
I might do away with the hood. Just
Oh, looks good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, we'll see. But
Some
it's
flamenco
a
dancing.
whole like I'm going to show you, ready? It's a whole situation.
It's head to toe. There it is. Can you just do that in the back this whole stream?
Yeah, look at it.
There it is.
There we go.
You can, if you're listening to the audio only version, I'm sure you could hear the ruffling.
It's like so comfy.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's good.
It's a good
yeah.
one. It's a good costume.
There's no reason. I just felt like it.
Except you wanted to demonstrate that you were not feeling insecure. Yes.
I like your segue.
Yeah.
I like your segue. All right, let's say hi to everybody. Or did you already do that?
Nope.
All right, everybody. So Bailey's here first.
Hi, Bailey.
Morning, afternoon, all. Obs is here. Hello. Kane Trouble's in the house. Rio Pel Room. Hello, hello, hello. Everyone is saying hi to everybody. Richard is here. Hi. Parker Jennings. Homesick Mac. Insecurity. I'm your man. Today's going to be an interesting discussion, I think. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Audio hotlines in the house. What's up? Rainy Cajun. Whoa. Charlotte Drew. Hello, hello. I'm like out of breath. Yeah. Can you do that?
And Regan Matheson says, made it. Hi,
All
people.
I did was jiggle for 2 seconds and I'm out of breath.
And Michael's here taking an editing break. And let's see. Wish YouTube. Oh, Kane says wish YouTube would just load when streaming starts.
I thought it did.
I feel like it's hit or miss. I feel like I've had both experiences. And the lack of consistency is the worst thing is the hypocrisy. Rim Jam loves a new outfit. There we go. And K-Wall Comedy. Happy Friday. And there we go. Oh, and Charlotte's pointing out Ben has assumed his chair for the live. Yes. And everyone loves your costume too, by the way. And Kane is asking though, if you were a piñata, what would be on the inside?
I guess I would just have to like have candy, right? Like on the ready. Like
as
the kids would try to hit me.
Yeah, anyone who has a stick is going to try to hit you. If you could somehow have like a pulley system and be suspended from something.
Oh my gosh. That'd be funny. I don't know if you saw this comment. I'm going to find it. This is the music.
Oh.
Okay, here we go. Ready? If you haven't heard, the coolest thing that happened in our household this past week
was Tom got COVID.
He did, but he's tested negative this morning, and we're very excited about that.
Yeah, that was fun.
I can move back into the master bedroom.
Yes.
But the actual cool thing that happened.
Yes.
You have to tell him about the what's it called? Accompanied video.
Yes.
That comes with this.
There's a video on my second channel, Tombuck2, if you want to check out
Tombuck2.
everything I'm talking about if you haven't seen it. I've been posting a lot about this last couple days because I'm very excited about it. As was alluded to there by Pete, the custom goalie mask. This right here.
Ta-da!
Yeah.
Look at this thing. Look.
Oh, put it on. There we go.
There it is.
You got it.
Look at this amazing.
It's hard to
Look
show
at
all
this.
the details.
It I mean, look, I feel the vibe. Look, I match with the
Yeah.
helmet.
We're both fans of, super bright colors. I don't want to leave it on and get super sweaty and weird, but yeah, there's all kinds
It's
of cool
just good.
stuff. I talk about it all in the video. Like we got the Firebirds logo there. We got all kinds of fun things happening here. And this is actually the result of a really cool YouTube story.
Yes.
Which I didn't tell in the video that I...
You didn't. I'm surprised.
Well, yeah, so what happened was I worked with two people to do this. A professional designer who we went through multiple revisions to come up with the design, and then a professional painter who painted it, because it's not just painting it. Like, as you can see, the mask has lots of parts and ridges and holes and stuff.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be an easy thing to paint anyway. But also, here, I can just set it right here. Where'd we go?
Just click anywhere.
Hit all the screens. There we
go.
go. But also, having a... sorry, I'm going to turn on the NDI. There we go.
Look at this.
Having a professional painter who can... You get a blank mask. They have to sand it all down, kind of just like refinishing a guitar or even maybe like a car. And then they have to paint it. And then they have to refinish it so that it's strong and durable and can, withstand getting hit by pucks and being on the ice and everything and getting wet and sweaty and all that cool stuff. It's hard to see under these lights, but a lot of the paint is metallic and reflective. We got the audio wavelengths. We got the palm trees.
That's so cool.
We got all these cool like symbols. We got big old Aquabats logo, Firebirds logo, precision base head, initials in a shield. On the top, we have all of the play, pause, rewind buttons, like
which was my
audio,
idea,
video.
by the way.
Yeah, I actually kind of forgot about that. We got the palm trees because we're from the area with all the palm trees. Yeah, and it's just super cool. So I can set this there, and I can switch back to there. But to tie this into YouTube and the weird world on YouTube is, man, a year, maybe even a year and a half or 2 years ago, I got a message on Instagram from someone who we were talking about video lights. I think he had done a studio tour video, and he was just asking like, hey, what are some of those small LED lights that I kind of like showed but didn't really mention in the video? And we were talking about video lights, and that's kind of it. Then we didn't talk again for like a year or more. And then I started posting a bunch of stuff about hockey, and he messaged me and he's like, hey, we talked a while ago. I don't know if you know this, but I'm a professional designer and my specialty is designing goalie masks. And he's like, I would love to work with you to come up with a design. And so we did. And then it's him and a painter. They work together. Then he sends it to the painter who takes the design from digital format and actually makes it happen on a physical thing, which is very, very cool. And that's a cool YouTube story, but I didn't want to... The reason I didn't want to share that in my video was I didn't want people to try to, like, hit them up, like, oh, hey, could you do me a favor? Or could you do me... Like, I want...
You're right, yeah.
If you want the work done, they are professionals. It takes a lot of time, effort, energy, and years of skill building to get to the point to do something like this. Like, you should... It's usually not a very cheap thing. Which is pretty crazy. I never thought I'd have an actual, like, my own custom painted goalie mask, which is amazing. So I got to skate with it for the first time this morning, which is really, really fun. There weren't pucks or anything, but it is super fun. I cannot wait to wear it in a game, and it's just the coolest thing. Yay. And it definitely needs to be a background piece in the videos. In
somewhere.
videos,
yeah.
Like,
look how cool that looks.
It can't just be sitting on a shelf in the garage.
I straight up match with it.
I know it is. If you wore it, I don't wear it though, just because in case there's any germs left. But yeah, you really says a lot about our taste of colors. So that was really cool. That has been incredibly exciting. I know if you're just like, oh yeah, he got a painted mask. It's such a thing because if it's not something I ever expected, and when you do a design, the more complicated the design, the more expensive the masks. You have to find artists, find designers, and then expect to pay a whole lot of money. And it's just this weird circumstance of things where, like...
Well, it's also, like, such a symbol of a journey that, like,
it's so
you never,
personal.
ever thought you'd go down.
It's so cool. And that was really cool, is working with a designer to do it. He was it wasn't just like, what's your favorite color? And, I don't know, do you like a band or something? But it was literally, like...
Lots of back and forth.
Yeah, like, where are you from? Like, tell me, it's almost like...
It's it's like that person really, it's a skill set, I feel like, to ask the right questions and to figure out like preferences, because the person doesn't know, like they can't tell you the info unless you ask the right questions.
So and it was really cool. And so if you ever watch hockey games, pretty much any game that would be televised, I'm guessing the goalie would have a customized mask, but especially of course like the NHL or the AHL level. If you look at the goalie masks, they all have some sort of customization on. At the pro level, they get a new one or two every single year, or sometimes even more for like special events. And it's really cool. And if you start looking, like some of them are heartfelt, some of them are cool, some of them are intimidating, some of them are super goofy. Like one of the goalies for the Dallas Stars, his is all Mario Kart themed. Like there's really cool stuff. So anyway, that's been incredible.
Anyway, that was very cool. And that was a cool thing that happened through YouTube.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, who would have ever like predicted?
I know, I was trying to segue.
It was a cool thing that happened through YouTube.
Yeah, but sometimes there's uncool things that happen through YouTube.
Sometimes there are uncool things that happen through YouTube.
Like when you have insecurities as a creator.
Yes. So
sorry, I'm not as smooth as you.
Nobody could be. Segueing into the topic of today's show, we are talking about insecurities on YouTube. So one thing I would love to know is, you can take that to mean whatever you want. And if you've had insecurities and you've dealt with that, I would love, and you're willing to share, I would love to know anything you want to share, anything you felt insecure about via YouTube. But this came up.
How did this come up?
Between you and I talking.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this a lot. One of the things I learned about myself, I guess like I'll go first, right?
Sure.
Was last year when we were, just sort of reevaluating everything. I noticed sometimes I would find myself being critical of other YouTubers and other creators. And a part of me did and does still feel like, well, that critical eye is very important, because if I don't like something, I want to know why I don't like it. And I want to understand why I don't like it. And also then so I can avoid doing it. I don't want to do the thing that I don't like, It's kind of like when I was in my teaching credential program, I had a whole class that taught us not to read PowerPoint presentations. Like, don't just put up a presentation and read the PowerPoint presentation. And the way that they taught us to do that was by having a class where they put up a PowerPoint presentation and just read it slide for slide, not ironically or sarcastically, but just they were unaware. And you don't want to do that kind of a thing. But a thing I realized, sometimes my criticisms and things felt very valid, but other times I think a lot of it came from my own insecurities, which could be also even a little bit of jealousy, or a lot of insecurity.
Yeah.
And I hate to admit it, but it's kind of true. And you sort of see, you work all these years to get to a certain point where you're at. You see someone who seems like maybe they're going better, faster, stronger, than you are. And it's kind of like you feel frustrated, and it's sort of, okay, well, instead of being happy for them, or instead of looking at how I can improve, I can just be critical and go like, oh yeah, but that's only because they're doing blah, blah, blah. And that's lame. I would never do that. So,
right.
And it's sort of embarrassing. I think that's kind of a normal thing to feel, but it's definitely a thing I felt. And it was nice when I realized that, because then I could start getting ahead of it. And when I started seeing things that gave me that feeling, I could sort of step back and go like, okay, is this a me thing, or is there something here that is like a valid criticism for me to have? And that was a really cool perspective shift.
Yeah, I think it's, first of all, I want to give you, I commend you for getting to the point on sharing that on live stream. I mean, not only recognizing that, reflecting on that, and then putting it out there into the whole world. Like, I think that says, I mean, I don't want to say it says a lot about you, because I know that
I felt
this
a little
is...
insecure sharing it, to be honest.
I know this is who you are. But I know that this whole journey of you recognizing that, identifying that feeling, it's an uncomfortable feeling. It makes you feel like you're doing something wrong. Going through all that was a process. That's not something that happened overnight. And so I commend you.
Thank you.
For wanting to dig deep despite the discomfort.
I appreciate that.
And then putting that out there, I think it's important, because it's like, yeah, I think a lot of people would look at you and be like, oh, he's got it all figured out. But
no, definitely not. But I wanted to share it because I know when I felt that way, I felt really bad when I really like became conscious of it, and it sort of was then the thing of like, oh, I feel this way, but how does nobody else feel this way? And it's like I kind of think other people probably do, and so if I say that I feel that way, maybe other people are like, hey, okay, it's normal and it's okay. It doesn't mean that you don't want to try to understand it or whatever, but at least it's not weird.
Right. I think I was being critical of something and I can't remember what it is, and then you were like, no.
Well, that was recent. You were like, I don't want to complain, but something's bothering me about whatever.
Yeah, and I honestly can't remember. I wish I did remember.
But that's what I was trying to explain. Like, well, it is important to understand why you don't like something.
There was something about content I saw.
Creator,
yeah, it was probably on Instagram. And there was something about it that I didn't like.
Which to me could be anything, even just from like style. Like, oh, I don't like the way this is edited.
Right.
That's a subjective personal opinion, but at least understanding, okay, I don't want to edit things like that because I don't like it for this reason, all the way over to this person is pulling a scam and like I really hate that and I don't want to do that. I think all those are very valid criticisms.
I remember.
You do.
Yeah. This is no diss because I don't know who uses this font, but it was on Instagram and it was a podcast clip. And I realized, I said out loud, like, I don't like the captions where it's like one word or it's a whole sentence, but the word that's being spoken is in a different color. And that style.
Wait, don't I do that?
A podcast clip? No, because I was like, oh crap, Tom does that, which is fine. If you do that, if anybody here does that, I'm not saying it's bad, which is why I brought this up, because I was like, I don't want to come off as nitpicky or whatever, but then I like what you said, because I said that I don't like this, I don't know why, but that style of podcast clip with the captions in that very specific style became so prevalent to the point of like that TikTok voice, the TikTok lady voice who's like, hello, this is a YouTube studio.
Wow,
like,
great YouTube studio.
That one.
Yeah.
If you use it, great. I'm not dissing it. I don't like it though, right? And it's the same thing with this font. Like, I don't know. There's just something about it that I think it's just because I see it all the time that I started to not like it. And then I told you, and then I felt bad because I was like, now I'm nitpicking other people's content. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And then you said,
well, I don't remember. I said the thing about it's important to understand what you.
Yes, and
what you don't like.
And I was like, okay, I can draw the line between like it doesn't matter whose content this is. It's the style. It's this. I don't know. There's something about the font that I just don't like.
We even dug further where it was like it had been. The example you showed me was like a bro podcast, like a bro down like podcast thing.
Whatever. I don't want to.
But it was the kind of thing where like there had been, especially in the past couple years, where sort of like you just straight up like misogynistic and weird podcasts got really popular. You could just sort of put any two bros together, have them say anything, and you put this on it, and it's like, oh, preach, profound.
And that's that. I'm not judging. I don't want to judge. Like whatever you want to podcast about, we podcast. What do we podcast about? I don't know. I mean, I'm wearing a pinata thing. I'm not gonna judge, but I liked what you said because you said it's important to understand. Like it's not. There is a difference between those same negative comments that make us feel uncomfortable as creators that are not helpful, right? And I feel like that could be that. I didn't say anything. But then there's also like just understanding why I don't like that style or, it's just, again, I'm not judging. You make your content, but your face.
I saw the mail truck drive up and I was like, it's going to happen.
I mean, they're happy.
They're very happy.
But yeah, so anyway, I think it is important just like when you see content you like, you're like, oh, that's cool. It's also like, oh yeah, I don't know, I just don't like that, so I'm not going to do that.
Learning what not to do is really important. And it's funny. So going back to like talking about my teaching credential program, when I first started, like before I was student teaching, before anything, I had to do a ton of observations. And so my first person that I observed with was one of my friends who's an amazing teacher. He still teaches, absolutely incredible teacher. Watched his class, several times. Like, okay, great. He has like a perfect class, like he has everything under control. He's been doing everything for years. He knows exactly what to do. And then he sent me to like a couple of his friends' classes who are also excellent teachers. And I was like, cool. And then eventually he was like, all right, I'm going to send you over here. And he's like, don't be surprised when this teacher is very excited that you're there to observe, because it was someone that no one ever sends anybody to observe. And he started sending me to the notoriously bad teachers. And that was like, oh, because when I was in the classroom where everything's working, I don't know what's working.
Right.
It just looks
you don't
like,
know why it works.
oh yeah, everything's
right.
here. And then when you go somewhere where it's not working, you're like, oh my God. Because they're not doing this, this problem is happening, this is happening here. And I actually learned as much, if not even more, by watching the ineffective teacher as I did with the super effective teacher. And so it's kind of the same thing. When you learn what you don't like, it can really teach you a lot, sometimes even more than just going, oh, I really like that, I really like that.
Yeah, and not in a way that's like, you know,
it doesn't have to be about the other person.
Right, exactly. Right? It's like if you go to an art museum, I do this. It's like sometimes I'm like, I don't know why this is taking up so much room in the art museum. Okay, literally the last time we went to an art museum, there was a whole corner dedicated to like a digital media art piece. Oh, yeah. And all it was like the intro to a program. It was like
the basic Blender
the demo project of Blender on a projector. And that was the art piece, which is weird because it's like everyone has access to that when you download the program. But for some reason,
it wasn't a statement on Blender either. It was like someone just used the default, figures and models and things.
Very strange. But it was so much real estate in the art museum. I was like, you could put 15 pieces here.
That sat with me weird because I was like, the person who made this knows that what they're doing is very low effort. But they know the people who are seeing it are like, whoa, like it's 3D. You made this from scratch. Like they don't know it's just free Blender with free models that anyone can do. And so now you got a whole wall in the museum.
I don't want to judge.
I mean, I'm judging.
All right, Kane says, for a long time I was in fear paralysis, then tried chasing the numbers when local events took my channel off. Now comfortable making the videos I want to like, serving a very niche audience. Numbers will always be low, but providing a valued service for a niche group, and have never been happier creating.
And there you go. That's the personal side.
Yeah. Hey Josh, let's see.
No, did you see what's that? Tom and Heather both looking mighty fit these days. Sorry, I can't skip over that.
I know.
It's been a long journey.
Thank you. He really wanted to read that one.
Thank you. We've done a lot of work over the past year.
I was super insecure about my knowledge and my setup and equipment. I used to delete an entire project after seeing another creator do it better. Not anymore. Everyone should have a chance to be heard.
It's crazy. And you're at a point too, Gil. I think about you all the time in terms of nobody can do what you do without
right. Nobody could just.
Yeah.
An average person couldn't just do what you do.
Yeah. I remember trying to learn to play the drums, and at first I was like really bad.
You have passed the point.
And I remember hitting a point where I was like, okay, even if I don't feel that I'm perfect or there's way better drummers, somebody who's never played the drums can't sit down and do this. Like this can only be accomplished with practice and experience.
Yeah. There's experience there that's reflected. There's a style. There's
and yours is it's not even that's a pretty low level. My example, you're way up.
Yeah.
Because of the number of reps you put in.
Rim Jam says, I think my biggest insecurity is why make this video? Nobody cares what you think about this thing. Another big one is imposter syndrome.
Preach. I get both of them. I understand both of those.
It's definitely a process of learning. Michael says, I'm insecure because I worry I'm not being personable enough. I call it rolling a 12 for charisma.
It's one of those things. My impulse is to say, because you're worried about being personable, that means you're going to come across as personable. It's like someone who's like, I don't know if I'm going to be a good parent. Or the fact that you're worried about it means you're fine.
Yeah. Same type of feeling took me back from releasing my first solo record years ago. In the end, I just said, screw it. I want it out. Scary feeling in the beginning.
Yeah.
Don't suppose you have advantage. And you said, speaking of podcasting, when does the next season of The Enthusiasm Project start again?
It's supposed to start. I say supposed to because it's been a weird week. It's supposed to start first Monday of February, so I'm actually supposed to record it tomorrow. But it's
kind of a crazy weekend, though.
It's a crazy weekend, and I also have been like, it's video version, and people can call it. I am really coming to the realization I don't want to do a video version. There's a million reasons I should, and I don't want to.
I'm gonna get one thing.
Okay. And so it was actually earlier today I was thinking I might just call it and not do a video version because it, regardless of what would be smart to do for the podcast, I don't enjoy the workflow for that specific podcast. Like, this is a video podcast and it's completely fine. But that one, there's something about it. I think because it's so personal, I really love being able to sit down and share my thoughts without thinking about cameras and lighting and graphics and editing and all that kind of stuff, which would just, I found myself not looking forward to recording. And then as soon as I thought, like, well, what if you just don't? What if you just call it and you don't do a video version? I suddenly was excited about it. And so I feel like that might be the right call. And I was even watching a video from Becky and Chris, like their first video of the new year. And they talked about, like, why haven't we done our podcast in a while? And they even said, like, we're just going to do audio only because of the workflow. And especially now that I wanted to do video because YouTube is now so podcast compatible. But at the same time, because YouTube is podcast compatible and can take RSS feeds of audio only podcasts, maybe I don't need to do the video version to get the YouTube benefits. So anyway, that's what I've been at. Haven't 100% decided, but I feel like the video version of my podcast is a should, and I don't want to do a should.
Amen.
But I legit feel insecure as somebody who talks a lot about podcasting and live streaming and likes this stuff. Why wouldn't you have a video podcast? I do feel insecure about that.
I mean, you do you. See, this is the thing. Like, what if I said the same? If,
I know all these things, but I'm just telling you how I feel.
If we flipped places. Okay, since a lot of us, myself included, deal with the just overall insecurity, which I feel like there's, many reasons. Even for me, I can't tell you how many times in the past 2 weeks I have started a vlog and not finished. Okay. And I keep asking myself, why do I not finish? Like, why some days I finish and then other days I don't finish? And I don't know, because I know that fatigue is not, I feel like that's an excuse, because there have been days where I've, 4 hours of sleep, I've still made a video. So obviously that's not the reason. But I was doing some bedtime reading. This is a mandatory book for anyone who is a content creator or any kind of creative anything. It's called The Creative Act. We've talked about it on the Couples Table before.
Times, yeah.
It's by Rick Rubin, but there's a chapter that I happened to just open up to yesterday, and it's called The Abundant Mindset. I honestly would read the whole thing, but
you can literally turn to any page and just read any line, and it's like, oh, relevant.
But I feel like I'm just going to read like one thing about it. Okay, so a river of material flows through us. When we share our works and our ideas, they are replenished. If we block the flow by holding them all inside, the river cannot run and new ideas are slow to appear. In the abundant mindset, the river never runs dry. Ideas are always coming through, and an artist is free to release them with the faith that more will arrive. Let's see. In the abundant world, we have a greater capacity to complete and release our work. When there are so many ideas available and so much great art to make, we are compelled to engage, let go, and move forward. The recognition of abundance fills us with hope that our brightest ideas still await us and our greatest work is yet to come. We're able to live in an energized state of creative momentum, free to make things, let them go, make the next thing, and let it go. And with each chapter we make, we gain experience, improve our craft, and inch closer to who we are. And I really like that, because I don't know what my block is. I think part of it is like, who the heck is going to want to watch this? Or, I'm kind of tired, so whatever I'm going to make is probably going to be blah anyway, so it's not even why bother. That kind of sentiment. But going off of that, right, like feeling like there's ideas all around. The other thing I've been thinking about lately is you are the only person who can make whatever you're going to make, even if you think it's blah, right? And the fact that you're the instrument taking all of your, ideas, experience, style, personality, perspective, voice, whatever, like your individuality, and creating whatever it is that you do create, like that's you sharing your gift with the world. You are putting it out there, and the more that you do it, it's like the more that you're sharing your gift. And I like that approach because it takes it's like we're not even talking about numbers anymore.
Yeah,
we're not
we're way
talking
beyond
about
that.
we're not talking about views, subscriber count. Like, I just like the idea of I'm the only one who can make this video. Even it doesn't matter what I think about it. I'm the only person who can make it. And isn't that like worthwhile enough to put it out there, even if it does have an impact on like a single person? Because that would not have happened if you had not created
Right.
that video. I just want to hang out in that thought.
I think that's a good place to hang out in.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I'm going to need reminding, though.
Well, I mean,
Also,
it's the thing,
getting
too,
hot
of,
up
like,
in here.
your vlogs. If there's something you need to do, whether it's make a vlog or, you know, I don't know, call someone to make an appointment, like whatever, and it just sort of keeps moving from day to day on the to-do list and never gets done.
Right.
There's usually like, why is there this block? What do I not want to deal with that this is bringing up? And it's usually something.
Yeah, there's another line in this chapter that says, it's dispiriting to complete and share a work you've lost connection with. So this is approaching it from like you're spending 2 years on a single video, like just you've probably disconnected.
Or I would imagine too, like if you think about, you know, I had versions of this when I would sometimes be scheduled so far out in advance that like a video,
You're not even that person anymore.
Yeah, there have been a couple of times where like I would release a video that was made like 3 months before because it just kept getting pushed. It was at the end of the thing and kept getting pushed. The topic was still relevant, but by the time the video came out, I was like, wait, even if it was a good video, it's like, I don't remember. Yeah, the studio doesn't look like this anymore. Like, what is happening? And I didn't feel the same connection as when it's like, here's what I just finished putting my heart and soul into.
Audio Hotline says, finding the line between criticism and jealousy is tough. I've definitely caught myself being critical when in reality I was jealous.
It's very tough to recognize.
Yeah. Level up with Mike. I'm insecure because I'm not Bandrew or Tom Buck, and I love doing gear reviews. How can you ever measure up? Great quality content I feel is much better than mine, so why bother?
I feel the same insecurity because I'm not Bandrew, I'm not Gerald Undone, and so it's like I can only
compared
think
to you guys, like you, Bark, Tom is my biggest.
But I feel exactly the same way, and I feel like all I can think of sometimes is what this video is missing, and then what I tell myself is, you know, if I'm making a video about something that someone like Gerald or Bandrew has already covered, they kind of already did they did the hard part, right? Like they covered all the in-depth
that's been your thing lately,
tech stuff.
Like. Yeah.
So I can just refer people to their video and talk about it how I want to talk about it, which for me is so much less about like, let me tell you every feature, every performance thing, every nitpick, and more about contextualization, which is here's why I'm interested in this. Here's how I use this. I might be completely ignoring. I've had my Rodecaster Pro 2 for almost 2 years at this point, since before it was officially released. There's features in that I've never used and never will use. Does that mean like I don't know anything about it or shouldn't have it? No. I think of like Adobe Photoshop because it's such a big program and people use it in such different ways. Literally no one, including the people who make the program, knows everything about every part of it. And that doesn't mean anyone has a lack of knowledge. It just means like it works differently for different people. And I think just contextualizing then, don't make the audience expect, at least in my mind, don't make them expect like this is a full in-depth, super all the knowledge, but this is what I think about this thing. And that's going to be perfectly valid enough right there.
Ono Coffee says, if you don't want to do a video, don't do a video. Keep it fun for yourself so you enjoy it.
Yeah, I definitely have a lot of videos that I'm like, I feel like I should make a video about that, but I don't want to.
Charlotte says, I should do an audio podcast, but the idea makes me ragey. Maybe I'll do a video podcast instead.
See, my work
That's
easy.
what we do. Well, that's what we do for this show. Andrew says, still trying to get the confidence to post my first content. Even typing hello and this message makes me feel insecure. Aw.
I'm glad you did it. I'm glad you put the message out there.
Yes. If it's your first content ever, what I would say is just like do something like the 10-day tackle. The 10-day tackle is a challenge that I did, and had people join, which was basically like make 10 videos in 10 days, like one video per day for 10 days, because I feel like as a super beginner, a lot, like, you can very easily talk yourself out, but when you do the 10-day, then like you'll have a whole set of new questions and ways of looking at it.
You'll solve problems.
Yeah, a lot of it is like just the doing something new for the first time. Like even us playing hockey, it was like I was so scared.
Yeah.
I was so scared for our first class. Like it's a lot of like that discomfort. I'm not invalidating how you feel, but
yeah, I mean the hockey thing's a good example, especially as someone who's never involved in sports and it seems like everyone knows what they're doing. I remember before like the first class trying to like sneak into the locker room early when things were closed just to see like where's the locker room? How does it where does it work? Where do I put my stuff? All this, which I felt really dumb about. And, you know, of course, then show up on the first day and everyone knows what they're doing. And then, you know, months later, I'm talking to people who are awesome and super good players and seem like lifelong athletes. And they said the exact same thing where they're like, oh, my God, I had to come in here on like a public skate and sneak into the back so I could find the locker room. And I was like, oh, everybody feels the same way. It doesn't.
Everyone feels like if you're definitely at the beginning, I think all of us probably had to make a couple videos before that first one actually got published. So, Mike says another insecurity is how other channels can crank out videos weekly, and it takes me 2 weeks to make a video that I'm comfortable releasing.
Yeah, it's so hard to look at, you know, and I know you don't know what other, you know, do they have an editor? Do they have a full-time job or not? Like, what is the situation that allows people to make what they make so often, and what's their workflow, and how do they come with ideas?
But yeah,
but
it's hard because it's like, obviously, like when we're all alone in our heads, like we will focus on, I think it's human nature for your body, your mind to protect you from what it thinks is danger, right? So like if you know I think it's natural for you to suspect and like compare and feel bad or whatever. But if you can rationalize, like there are people who are on a slower publishing schedule and doing it fine, you know, like you can choose what to focus on, but it's like having to check yourself. And obviously this is easier said when it's a third party and not you.
It's always easier to tell someone else what to do, but it's also recognizing like, okay, this is a human, like a natural human instinct that's, you know, trying to protect you, but it's like there's no danger, bro. I don't know. Okay, Tom, as an avid listener of your podcast, I want to say audio is just fine, bro. I'm there for Tom. Thank you.
What boosted my consistency was hosting scheduled live streams. Promising people I'll be there is a great way to keep on track. Ever since I stopped my live streams, man, I have not been consistent.
Yeah.
So, yes. That was cute. Audio Hotline says, Mike, you make great content, dude. I was just watching you the other day, and your knowledge and experience is very valuable. You're an amazing addition to the audio community. There you go.
And again, it's kind of that same thing. The fact that you're worried about not providing enough value, not having enough info, probably means you're going above and beyond because you care about that. Whereas, you know, other people really do. There are people out there who do just want to make a video to get the ad revenue, couldn't care less really what's in the video, or fill in a sponsor segment or something, and they'll just read whatever, do whatever. No real thought about how it will serve the audience. And so even if you feel your stuff's imperfect, the care that does go into it makes it genuinely outstanding. And it's your own thing. And at some point, if not already, there will be people who will be like, I can't do what Mike does. I shouldn't.
But also, like, another thing that I've learned with YouTube is that it's so big that you actually might, because you do it your way and you have your unique perspective, you actually might be the gateway to your, like, niche.
Yeah.
Which is, I know that's weird, but, like, there's so many people who go to my tutorial channel and it's like their first tutorial about YouTube that they're watching, and it's mine. It's like, dude, there's so many. Yeah. How did you find mine?
You never know who's going to jive with your personality, your style, your whatever.
Yeah, I definitely get that a lot. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of YouTube, tutorial content, but I come to you because I like the way that you explain things. So it's like, just keep doing.
It's not even about just the info. It's so much about the person,
the style. Mm-hmm. Hassan, one of the reasons I haven't made a video in months is the insecurity of why people would watch my video and comparing myself with others in the niche.
That seems to be such the common one. Is like,
why would
everybody anyone watch? Yeah, I think that's very normal. I'm not trying. I don't want to get into like let's solve everybody's insecurity. I just want to reassure. I guess.
Yeah, we all feel that.
Reassure.
L. Photoshop and Illustrators, they're both huge.
Yeah, you can't learn. I mean, I've used Photoshop for over 20 years, and there's stuff where I'm like, you could do that, and that's even not even considering all the ways it's constantly updating and growing.
I know. Room Jam. Tom, that is why I value your videos a lot. Your videos, from my perspective, are more practical problem solutions or creative ways to use a tool versus a spec sheet.
Thank you. That means a lot because that's what I'm trying to do. I really don't want to be the spec sheet person. That's like, just go to the manufacturer's website. Like, it's going to be more accurate than me anyway.
Oh, sorry, Reagan. I missed his comment.
Oh, no.
I'm not ignoring you, I promise.
We just get flooded with so much.
Let's see, Hassan. As much as I love live streams mostly to see what the setup looks like, 90% of the time I'm just listening to the video podcast while doing chores. So video podcasts are not worth it that much.
I mean, it's like this one is fine.
I re-listen to ours at the gym, so I'm definitely not watching.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the case. But who's gonna sit and stare at essentially a
Talking
static
head.
shot for 50
Yeah.
minutes or 60 minutes? But for mine, it goes into the mindset of making the show, and for me, I just have a very different mindset when it's
Oh, here, I found all your stuff.
just doing audio versus adding in the thing of video.
I'm gonna highlight you, Reagan, because I skipped
There we
you.
go. That outfit. Just giving nice
Loves the
compliments
outfit.
on the
I know, and I
outfit.
just skipped it. Sorry, Reagan.
Kind words. That'll show him to be kind. Melanie's here.
Hey, Melanie, good seeing you.
Yeah, and there's a thing I've noticed. So here I'll share
Ooh,
another little
tell us.
insecurity of
Okay,
mine,
okay.
or something that I've been able to catch myself with.
Okay.
Sometimes I in the past have paid attention to the size of other channels.
Okay.
Okay.
I believe all of us have.
Yes.
But okay.
Yes.
We could speak for
Especially
yourself.
if there's, you sometimes sort of have like a group or a peer group or almost like a class of like, okay, creators started kind of growing at the same time.
cohort.
And sometimes people, go ahead, fall behind, like whatever, a cohort a little bit, an unofficial cohort. And I noticed there's sometimes where like in the past, I have looked at people's channels and thought like, I hope they're not too far ahead of me.
Aww.
And that's not good. I don't want to feel that way. And I also definitely don't want to feel like, oh, good, I'm a little further ahead. I don't want that feeling. And so what I started doing was catching myself, because I'm curious a lot of times when there's someone that I haven't checked in on in a while, or I think, oh man, they've had this video that really exploded. Like, how are they doing? And I want to check their channel. I want to make sure before I go to anybody's channel homepage that I only want to be happy for them. I'm either just curious or I want to be happy. Like, how big is it? This video's, I found a channel yesterday where the video was like unreal production value, and it was the guy's first video on a channel with like 2,000 subscribers. Obviously he had audio video production experience, because all the comments were like, can't believe this is a first video. I was like, obvious first video on this channel, but it's definitely not the guy's first video. But like, I was kind of shocked. I was watching the video. It was so good. I was like, obviously this must be a new channel I haven't seen that has like 1 million subscribers. Definitely wasn't. And that's kind of fun. And I want to check people and go like, oh my gosh, they hit 100,000. They hit 10,000. That's awesome. Like, I want to check somebody's channel to feel happy for them and excited for them, not to feel jealous or insecure. And so if I find myself going to click on a channel, every time before I click on anybody's channel, I think, why am I doing this? And there are times where I realize it's out of insecurity or jealousy, and then I just don't check it. Like, I'm not going to look at it. And fortunately, I'm happy to say, most of the time I go, okay, it's for a good reason. I want to check their channel. But I don't know. That was just another thing.
Another thing I commend you on for recognizing and sharing. I think that's a big one, because I think it's a big one because it's a hard one to admit.
It is. Well, there's a thing too, like hitting the 100,000 milestone was unreal, and I still can't believe that happened. And there were like several friend channels around me that kind of hit it around the same time, either a little before or a little bit after. And some of them
Or
really
way
kept
past
going.
you.
Yeah, it's not even close. And it was hard. Like I initially felt like after doing that, I was like, okay, I don't think I need to ever. I never. This is a milestone I didn't ever expect to hit. So anything else from here is just icing on the cake. Like
Right.
don't even pay
Yeah.
attention to it. But it's hard to just when you're not even thinking about it, those thoughts creep in that you're like, oh, and then.
Well,
I'm just admitting what a terrible person I
you're
feel like.
not terrible.
That there are times where I have, in the past, where I like to say in the past because I feel like I've gotten a lot better about this, but where I would go like, okay, here's someone, their channel grew twice the size of mine in half the time or whatever. Let me look at their total views. Oh, their total views are half mine. And then I feel like, I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to feel that way. I want to be very excited for somebody. I want to... Somebody else's victory is not your loss or your defeat.
Say it for the people in the back.
Their success,
especially on YouTube.
It's not them or me. It's not me or you.
That's the thing about YouTube is like, it's not this like, selective pool of this many people and they only have this much attention. So it's like, we're all taking from the same pool. No, like I bet all of us that are creating content have unique viewers that have never seen any of our other, any of your content or your content or your content. It's like YouTube is big enough and there's just so much to go around, and someone else's like win doesn't mean that like it has no bearing on your channel whatsoever.
Yeah, it's not related, and it's I think it's natural because as a human you want to. It's the same thing of like,
course.
If I make more videos, I want the channel grow more, and then sometimes it doesn't, and then there's channels who publish, like Mike said, channels who publish one video a month or something, and they blow up, and it's like
it makes you feel like you're doing it wrong.
As a human, you want to okay,
right,
I work this many hours, I make this much money. If I work twice as many hours, I make twice as much money. Like you kind of like these concrete connections between things, and so you look at, okay, my channel is doing this, a channel of similar size should be comparable in some way, but they're not. Even in the same niche, they're just not. And just sort of recognizing that everybody's their own journey and their totally own experience, and it has no bearing, positive or negative, on you, I think is very important.
Yeah. Mike says, thanks for this episode. One thing I realized how much it helps to support each other, then let a competitive spirit rip each other apart. I love this community. Reagan says, when I think about it, content creator lifestyle has insecurity built in so deep. It's like the inevitable byproduct.
Yeah, it's so weird. You're just grasping for like,
I don't I think it's a very strange thing to be a content creator. And it's so new, and I was just listening to a podcast, the new episode of Criminal, that it was like just 50 years ago. So the idea of the new American woman, like this is what she looks like, and this is what she likes, and this is her lifestyle, and like every woman has to like aspire
smoking
to
slim cigarettes and driving a car with tail fins.
It's like, it's crazy that we just, in the same lifetime, we can all be our unique selves, and like I think we can all agree that there isn't one like perfect American woman or like type, you know what I mean? And it's like, I think because YouTube is so new, people are gonna do what people do, which is go into it with these kinds of things. And I'm glad that we're having this conversation. I'm glad that I feel like YouTube overall and content creation overall are having these conversations. I think it's getting a lot better. But yeah, there's no prep for this. There's no prep. There's no like, how do you come in unless you, I don't know, your parents were like Hollywood actors or something, already kind of bracing yourself for everything to come. It's tough. But
I have noticed since I started realizing a lot of these things last year, like in the spring and summertime. And since doing that, and since trying to like identify that and, tamp it down and not let it dictate stuff, it has been really cool. So a very cool byproduct of that is being able to then celebrate the wins of others, like almost as if they're my own, like with the same excitement. And that feels so much better.
Yeah. And it's also like that person's success is like a proof of concept, you know, like it's a win for the space, you know, it's a win for
Yeah.
YouTube creators overall. Like it's like you don't know how that's also how that is also affecting like the platform, and you know, I don't know, it's just
Well, it's just seeing something where it's like someone that I'm rooting for
Right.
had something positive happen and feeling happy about that.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard though, because I can see how, you know, it's like saying like, you know, it's like telling a depressed person just like be happy.
Yeah. I mean, it's not something like
I know it's not as easy as just like, I mean, it is and it isn't. It, you know, it's like, it is a choice to be happy, but it's hard sometimes.
yeah, it's also not, you know.
Ob says, Heather, you're so right. Thanks for giving Tom his flowers, even though he doesn't want to take them. Kadoosh. Someone else's success doesn't mean you won't have success.
Right.
Yeah. Audio hotline. Definitely having support of similar creators is absolutely essential. I would probably go crazy without talking to other audio channels. Ob says this woman will never wear a dress. Your win is our win. It's a win for everybody.
Yeah. Rising tide lifts all ships, right?
That. All ships rise with the tide.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it said that way.
A rising tide lifts all ships.
All
That's
ships
all-
rise with the tide.
I've never heard it said that way. But you know what?
Really?
I'm excited for your. I'm happy for you.
My word of the year is abundance. Abundance. And I want to just like, there's an abundance of ideas. There's an abundance of people whose content, there's abundance of viewers who would benefit from watching your content, would, you know, be positively impacted by your content. And even if it's just that one person, but it like changes their lives. That's what I want to focus on, you know?
You're going to do a dance.
It's a work in progress.
She's going to do the abundance.
Wow.
Sorry, I didn't mean to
I
undercut
really-
this really meaningful point that you just made.
I really didn't know where you were. I thought you were at abundance dance, and I was gonna do the dance, and then you
Oh.
you caught me with
All right. You're just, I like
all
that.
ships
you were
rise with
just
a
gonna do
tide. Okay, there you go.
That's true. Either way is fine.
Oh man. Well, I'm trying to think of my insecurities. Let me...
Hey, we didn't even talk about yours. We just talked about a horrible person I am for like 50 minutes.
I mean, because you know what? Honestly, like my insecurities, like lately, are it's not even. I was so far low that it's not even other people. I can't even like look at other people because I'm so much in my own way that I'm not even there. Like once I'm standing, I could probably like look at what other people are doing and feel bad about that. But right now I just feel bad about
I look
myself.
forward to that.
I'm getting better, but yeah, it's like, so, I haven't told anybody this yet except for Tom.
Oh, okay.
But for February, I'm doing a thing called Full Out February, which is basically just my mantra for February. But I just want to go full out. I want to create to my maximum potential. I want to feel like I'm creating at my best and like just being my best as a person overall. I'm going full out. I don't know what that means, but I'm excited about it. You know, like I don't know if that's like a vlog every day or trying to make Instagram reels or whatever, but I know that I'm the biggest block, and I don't know, I think the insecurity does come down to this. I don't have anything worth sharing, which sucks because my whole
it's not
mission,
true, but
my whole thing was like everyone has a story worth sharing, and I got to the point where it's like, this is worth sharing, bro. Like this is boring or why or whatever. And it's like, I know that all of us, if we got into a room, and now we're frozen, so that's cute.
as long as you can still hear us.
Hello. Oh, why are we stuck?
I was literally just thinking, wow, isn't it cool that the internet has held up this whole time?
It's because you had that
It's
thought.
because I had that thought. Now I feel insecure about my thoughts. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. We're stuck.
This can
I
just
don't
be-
remember what my thought
Now
was.
it's an audio only podcast. You're talking about Full Out February, and
Yeah.
You wanted to get out of your own way.
Yeah.
And, you felt a way that was contradictory to the thing that you preach to others. The whole mission statement of everybody has a story worth sharing.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't. Yeah, we're.
I just like. I think like I'm.
Okay, you can still hear us, so we're
Okay.
frozen.
Okay, so we're just gonna end like this,
Unless
or
we come back.
we're gonna end with this. But yeah, okay. If you can hear us, let's just finish up the thought.
audio is still going.
If you want to join me in Full Out February and just like we're all just gonna support each other and go full out and just like I just want to I want to create where I'm going so fast I can't even second guess. I'm going so fast I can't even look at what everyone else is doing. There's an abundance of ideas and I want to make them all. That's my thing.
I like that. There's an abundance of ideas and I want to make them all. That's like a channel slogan.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, let's
Heather
go.
just create. There's an abundance of ideas and I want to make them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like you're going too fast. You're a blur.
Ooh. That's scary.
All right, Tom, I got to say, I think we are kind of similar except for YouTube success, but we are too hard on ourselves.
I think a common thing probably between most of us in this chat is we're probably too hard on ourselves.
Melanie says, now I feel insecure about my thoughts.
Okay, so they can hear you. They can hear it.
Aw, Obs, you're the best.
Yay. And then hopefully it doesn't lead to Meltdown March and Antisocial April.
Yeah, hopefully not. Sorry for the... I don't know what happened.
Well, I'm noticing we're frozen in eCam. So I'm wondering if it's like the cam link doing something or...
But I can't even change the camera.
In eCam?
Like, how do I do that?
Seems... Well, now we're just troubleshooting live, but...
I know, but it's fun.
Something's going on in eCam.
Oh, K-Walk Comedy, Full Up for February. I love it. I'm doing community theater production, and I love to blog it and vlog it.
Blog it and vlog it.
Blog it and vlog it.
I like it.
How do I change the camera, babe?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I guess maybe that's our sign to
It's our sign.
Clear the table then.
Yeah.
Well.
Oh, here, cam link. Camera A. No.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. We're stuck-ins.
But
Sorry, guys.
We'll just wrap it up. So.
All right, we're going to wrap it up. That was fun.
So thanks for being here.
I think the next time it will be February. So we will have started Full Out February.
Yes, it will. Yes. It'll be February 2nd.
Well, there you go. We'll already be going so fast.
I hope she can even... we can even catch you on camera.
I know. You're not even going to be able to tell. All right, guys.
All right. Have a safe, happy, healthy, fun rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you next time.
We'll catch you next week. Bye.